Hey everyone, my name is Rooster, and welcome back to Mechabellum. In today's video, it's going to be all about Gospel. This is a comp that I have been hearing a lot about. It's been gaining a lot of popularity, and for the past couple days, I've been very busy with a subathon on Twitch, in which we tried different challenges, one of them being try and make Gospel work. Now, what is Gospel all about? It is a nickname for a comp that essentially revolves around WASP flanks paired with things like Rhinos. But yeah, the main thing is just having a very big WASP flank that tries to overwhelm your opponent, kind of catch them off guard, and then use that chaos to close out the game. Now, will we be able to pull it off this game? We'll have to see. It is a comp that if the opponent kind of fumbles and doesn't know the correct counter to, definitely can snowball quickly, but it has a very, very specific counter, which we'll talk about during this video. Now, I decided to start with Rhino Specialist here, which is going to be lovely because I get it on round 4, which means that I'll be able to pair it up with the Wasps that are going to go on the flank. And I start with Sabers and Fangs, which allows me to go aggressively on one side of the board. We add some arc lights here to deal with the opponent crawlers. Opponent is an intensive training specialist with sledgehammers. One of them gets leveled and they use that extra 50 to unlock a Phoenix on round 1. However, we do have some Fangs here, 2 on the front, 1 in the back. Maybe if this one can survive, we can take that out. We'll have to see. Now, my plan here was to kind of feint an attack on the left side, make them respond, and then round 3, ideally, I would go triple Wasp on the flank. And then round 4, I could kind of supplement that flank with my Rhino from the Specialist and really start kind of hammering right on the left side of the board. Let's see how we do, though. Ideally, I pose enough of a threat on the left side that the opponent won't see that big flank coming. We kind of trade towers here. Right side goes down first for us. The Phoenixes take care of that. My Arclight sadly perishes. It looks like my Sabertooth is up next. We do manage to grab that debuff though, and during the debuff we take out the big turret. And look at that, my Fangs able to turn, help out against that Phoenix. Now the debuff does come through, which allows the Phoenix to kind of start farming my Sabers, but it locks onto the wrong one. So instead of taking out a Saber there, we keep both alive, and that is exactly what I was hoping would happen, because it means we have enough of a threat for the opponent to try and solve the problem that they're currently facing while, you know, we are kind of scheming here to create a very different problem very soon. Round number 2, we get unit reinforcements. I decide to pick up the Mustang since it's a counter to the Phoenixes without me needing to go into more dedicated anti-air. Opponent picks it up as well. Double Mustang there on the left. Can be scary sometimes if you want to go Wasp, but for the time being, it looks like both of them will be on the left side, so that right side flank would still be completely open. And to be honest, Mustang isn't a correct response to the strat that we're about to play. I will put the Mustangs a bit closer to the front line since I already have a Fang covering the flank. And then we go for a Fang on the right, a Crawler here on the left, and I believe a tower level as well, keeping 100 in the bank to make sure that we at least have 650, or actually even more, 700 resources next round, so we can go for a Wasp unlock and then triple Wasp deploy. Right side, small turret doing a good job, by the way, of clearing most of those crawlers, which is always very helpful. Left side, getting a bit stuck this time though. Arclights doing their very best, but eventually getting stuck on sledgehammers, and with the addition of a new Phoenix, it doesn't look like we'll be able to push in as well as we did before. Saber here also doing its very best, but yeah, with the help of that big turret, it's just not meant to be, and we take a fair bit of damage on round 2. Here comes round number 3 though, and yeah, I have 700 in the bank. And I'm doing the math and thinking, well, I guess the nano repair kit here could be very nasty on the Rhino. But if I pick that up, I would have to sell something to be able to make up for the money spent and allow us to go into that triple Wasp on the flank. Opponent goes for the redeploy. which could come in handy to try and redeploy some units, deal with the flank. And yeah, look at that. So we sell one of our sabers, completely abandoning the left side. And we go for a triple wasp on the flank here with 3 squares in between to allow for a potential Wraith to kind of sit in between in front. Because one of the problems with this is you might struggle to chaff clear. And, well, it's always nice that eventually or potentially a Wraith could sit there to help out. We also get flanked ourselves, by the way, by a sledgehammer and crawler. But let's see. Massive flank here, of course. Now, the one thing is, with this setup, we currently don't have much of a front line. But that will change very soon as our Rhino will become available. Mustang sadly getting stuck somewhat. Left side not doing too poorly, though. We did manage to get the debuff there. And the Arclights have done a decent job of cleaning up. Only 5 Mustangs left alive. If we can somehow clean up the rest of the units, we might even be able to win this round. Wasp levels here, of course, would be amazing, because it'll help a lot to deal with whatever the opponent is going to try and mount as a defense. And we do manage to take out the Mustangs, but it costs us, you know, almost all of our wasps there. 2.5 packs have died. Only 6 wasps remaining, but they will be able to take out the sledgehammer, I believe, as we're chasing it down across the map. And there we go. So, first round successful, but now for the setup, because just putting wasps on the flank is obviously not going to be enough. You need to have some frontline for them so they actually can survive. And well, we get access to the Rhino. We finally use that nano repair kit that we picked up. Another Rhino is going to go over here, and we're immediately going to take armor enhancement in case the opponent decides to put more Mustangs on that side. Now, the opponent here goes for fortresses as the main response to this flank. Now, Fortress obviously has access to anti-air barrage, but it's not the usual counter that you want to see. Typically, what you should do against this is buy a Wraith. Now, opponent has an insane missile there, taking out almost all of our wasps in one fell swoop. So, I mean, I guess that wasn't too bad. Now, my Rhinos, though, have finally spawned in, and they're just going to chop down that fortress. Keep in mind, this one has that nano repair kit, so it is awfully tanky. And now another one comes in from the left as I used it to deal with that flank. And even though our wasps got missiled, this doesn't look like too bad of a round, all things considered. I still have some fangs as well. A couple of wasps decide to go for the tower, which we might be able to take out. We do. That allows the Rhino to chop the other fortress that was picked up. And some way, somehow, we end up winning this with 2 of our wasp packs getting deleted at round start. Not bad whatsoever. And here we go. Very quick pickup from us. The Wraith. There it is. Bit scary because this is the correct counter to the flank here. But will the opponent know about it? They do pick it up, so that's a bit scary. However, the positioning right now, perhaps not looking too good. Opponent also goes degen beam, which is not what you're supposed to do here. You're supposed to go range. And I'll probably show this immediately after this this round unfolds. But yeah, we decide to go for Wraith here in the middle. They are ever so slightly forward compared to the Wasp, so they should be able to tank Fortress anti-air if that ever comes out. And then, yeah, look at that. Just crawlers everywhere in between the Rhinos to really create as much of a front line as possible. And now we go for range on the Wasps. Now, if you look at the tech bar, we have range to keep them safe. We have aerial specialization to try and deal with things like a Wraith. We have ground specialization to deal with things like fortresses. And then we have the energy shield just for, you know, additional tankiness and kind of late game scaling in a way. Sledgehammers looks like have been sold or moved again. Another fortress has been picked up at level 2, which will make quick work of our fortress, of our Rhino, sadly. And while that degen beam is not doing too poorly, however, we are managing right now to take out that Wraith. And with the Wraith gone, the anti-air on the right side is non-existent. And while the left side is struggling somewhat, we do manage to eventually get to tower. And here I'm thinking, well, maybe I just want to pick up armor on my Wraith as well. I've got a very tanky setup. Don't mind the other techs. I was kind of playing around with different setups. I think normally you do want to have the 8-gun tech. But ooh, this round, we do manage to barely squeeze a win there, as our Wraith survives on a sliver of hit points. But all is well for the time being. Round number 6, Orbital Javelin shows up. We also have the Incendiary Bomb potentially if you want to try and set this left side on fire. But the Javelin just looked too good. Very low cooldown on that as well. And yeah, I mean, when we can hit 2 fortresses and a Wraith, I don't think we can say no. Opponent picks it up as well. Goes for a pretty clever crawler positioning here, which should pull both of these Rhinos and take them down. Now, we already managed to get level 3 Wasps here, and we go for the second tech on them, which is going to be ground specialization in this case, because I felt like the biggest problem we had was getting rid of those fortresses. For now, the Wraith wasn't too big of a problem, and it's honestly a bit too far back here to be able to deal with the Wasps. So range for now should be good enough. We also decide to mount a secondary attack. As our opponent is very busy with the flank, it means that the front of their tower is more exposed. And so, yeah, here we go. Rhino plus Wasp with the beacon to try and move in. We also add a missile to try and take down the turret and potential chaff. And we go for temporary speed. Another fortress has been picked up. Where is that going to go? It's going to be a fortress plus Wraith combo all the way in front of the tower, which might kind of ruin our plans here, as my Rhino will get slowed down by the degen beam. And while my Wasps do try their very hardest, they don't have aerial specialization as of yet, so taking down the Wraith does take a while without the levels. Look at how quickly those fortresses crumbled, though. With the Wraith in place, it's very easy for us to lock onto the enemy as we clear the chaff quickly. And, well, ground specialization is a nasty tech. 200% bonus attack against ground units. That does make mincemeat out of even things like level 2 fortresses. And yeah, as we move in, the Mustangs are on the wrong side of the board. We managed to start to really chip away at the opponent's hit points. Round number 7, nothing too interesting here. Anti-interference module could be fine, but a skip here is okay as well. Efficient Light Manufacturing is a fun card. I do like it a lot, but it's a bit too late for it. If it showed up on round 4, maybe round 5, I would consider it, but I think here it's just not worth. Opponent goes for the anti-interference module on the level 3 fortress now. Anti-air barrage has been picked up too, but we should have those Wraith in place to tank. And now, I mean, it would be nice to perhaps grab some anti-air on the Wasp, but looks like for now I've just decided to go for another attack, this time on the left side of the board. 2 more Rhinos have been picked up, one in the top left to try and pull these units, and then one with a new level 2 Wasp on the left side to try and kind of get through the front door. Right side is a little bit doomed. I mean, that fortress has been moved again, and this level 1 Rhino is not going to be too happy facing a Wraith on top of things. Mustangs have finally been added, and they do have both range and aerial specialization. But against this, I mean, this is where armor really shines, and I do run it on my Wraith as well, so moving forward, that's probably the tech I would go for. Let's see. Can we still keep things going? Of course, this Rhino is a little bit sad. Maybe I should just replace it, but Wasn't too sure what I wanted to throw things on, and it still, you know, ends up tanking a little bit, which is not a bad thing at all. Wraith here will sadly die, and this is actually a round where the opponent does quite well. Only a couple wasps are left. We do manage to take out at least one fortress, but the other ones seem to be slightly too tanky. Now, left side is a different story, as we get through pretty easily and really punish those Mustangs with the armor on the Rhinos. Can we take down that fortress, though? Awful debuff timer, as the fortress is just starting to absolutely maul through our army here. Takes down every single Rhino. Has a sliver of hit points remaining, but okay, it does finally go down. Good thing we save ourselves some hit points there. Round number 8, nothing too special. Don't need that additional attack card, since all of the bonuses in this game are additive. So once you get to plus 200%, you know, adding an extra 30 for the 230% really doesn't do too much. So we're just going to skip, get as much money as possible, and here we go. The armor enhancement now on the Wraith, which should make a big difference against these Mustang and should not allow them to deal any damage. And then we go for aerial specialization on the Wasp as well as a third tech to try and contest the Wraith a little bit better. Another fortress has been put down by the opponent here on the left to try and deal with the flank Rhino and the one on the main board. Although at this point, I guess you could argue what the main board really is, because most of our resources are tightly clumped on that right side flank. Level 4 fortress, by the way, at this point. Will our Wasps be able to get through? I mean, ground spec is a very, very nasty tech. It is always surprising how much damage you can output with Wasps when you decide to run that. I also decide to add a Wraith of my own on the right side to try and chaff clear a bit better, and we do take out that Wraith, and this time around, I mean, look at this flank. Yeah, those Mustangs are not doing too much to the Wraith. They're simply tickling them. A couple of Wasps do get hit, but plenty of them survive, and, well, that level 4 fortress that was just there actually got taken out. Left side, we're not doing too poorly. It's only a level 1 fortress. And the Rhino somehow still alive, tanking as best it can with the armor tech. And this will result in another round win for us. Very nice. Putting the opponent very low on hit points. 558 remaining. And it feels like we've properly managed to snowball things now. Raiden is going to get picked up here for the opponent. We have another unit drop. Nothing seems too appealing. Probably just to pick up and sell. Scorpion worth 750, so 550 if we sell, which would be the most valuable thing, it seems. I believe the Raiden also worth 550 total, but you would have to sell across 2 turns. I guess we could also just keep that Scorpion on the board and just aim it at the fortress. We do finally sell our Rhino there, and then we repurpose the Nano on this level 4 Scorpion. Does seem like a better target for it, and at least, you know, it gives the Rhino some respite, because it was not having that much fun facing down a level 4 fortress. We also don't really need the Rhinos anymore, because at this point, the Wraith are doing the job of tanking, as they also have the armor enhancement. And now, I mean, we just take levels where we can. We go temp range, temp speed, and we add some more Wasps kind of across the field here. One more on the left, one more on the right. And just really try and attack from different angles, right? Pull apart the enemy army. And that's what this comp is really about. Kind of trying to attack one side, then surprising them on the other, and then using all of that chaos to try and create more openings to get in and grab those towers. Kind of playing around things like armor enhancement, especially when the opponents go for things like Mustang. And yeah, that is kind of how this comp works. We'll be able to close things out here. Barrier has been picked up on the fortress on the left. That level 1 just crumbled, and that tower is still level 1. Well, the Rhino will easily walk in With 9 seconds of debuff being the result, right side, that fortress does its very best, but it can't fight back against the Wasp. And that'll be all she wrote, as we did manage to pull off a gospel game here with the Rhinos and the Wasps. Now, this comp can be really, really oppressive if you do not answer correctly. And in those cases, you know, you may be able to just get quite a bit of MMR farming opponents that are unaware. Now, the thing is, if you know what the counter is to this strat, it's free MMR, really. So let's have a look here at the board and have a talk about what the opponent really should have done. So as soon as you see a flank like this with the triple Wasp, you kind of should start thinking, okay, my opponent is likely going to start, you know, doing some shenanigans here. And what you should be doing here is not go for the fortress with the anti-air, but what you should be doing is picking up Wraith. And the reason that you should pick up Wraith is because Wraith has a unique mechanic where it always tries to find as many unique targets as possible within its range. What that means is that if you make sure that the Wraith can see the Wasps, even if there is a Rhino in front, it will shoot the Rhino with one of its guns and then try to find other targets, Wasps, with the rest of his guns. That's why it's so good at defending these flanks, because you can use missiles as well to take out things like crawlers, and suddenly, you know, the Wasps is all that the Wraith can see. Now, what you would do here is go for something like probably just double Wraith, and I think a good range to put them at is something like 5 squares from the line. That leaves you a little bit of room. And then, honestly, you might just try and sell. The thing is, range here is really important, and I'm not even sure we need this guy over here. I guess we do have that sledge up top. Maybe we just sell that, though. What if we just sell that and go for something like range? That's like the main thing that you should be doing here, is thinking about that range. We could level up this Phoenix, though. It's not a bad thing to do. Of course, the Rhinos will show up, but keep in mind that, you know, the opponent still has those Wasps, and if we take those down, we should do just fine. We don't have any front line just yet, but as you can see, the Wraith tries to find as many targets as possible, so even though it is getting stuck somewhat on that Rhino, we do take out all of the flying units, and that means that we already end up winning this particular round, or at least tying, I guess, if we end up not being able to kill this Rhino. But now we know that the Rhino is there, and then on the subsequent round, we can add steel balls right in front of it, vertically, and add some crawlers, of course, to try and annoy those Wasps. This also would have blocked the Wraith from showing up the next round, so I wouldn't have been able to pick it up myself as the Gospel player, and it would have made things a lot more difficult. But yeah, this would have been what I likely wanted to do. Pick up the range immediately. And then next round, I would want to go for probably 2 steel balls and maybe a crawler right here to try and annoy those Wasps. And yeah, I mean, as you can see, the Wraith here, especially when you click temp range, will be able to see some of these Wasps. And if you click 8 gun especially, it'll make it a lot easier for you to take down the opponent Wasps. Don't be too afraid as well to use some missiles if the opponent has a bunch of crawlers here, and you would be able to do just fine. Yeah, if there's Rhinos, just place some steel balls in them, positioned like so, and add some crawlers yourself. It'll be plenty as front line to tank for your Wraith. And they don't need that much time, really, to clear a flank like this, especially when you get the floating artillery array. But this is the main counter to said comp. You need to be a little bit wary, of course, of potential other avenues that your opponents can use, but this is the main way to deal with it. Anyway, if you liked this video, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think of it. Have you faced Gospel? Have you played Gospel? Are you angry with me now that I made this video? Kind of explaining the main counter, let me know. If you want to stay up to date on the latest content, please consider subscribing. And if you want to see me play live, check me out on Twitch. With that being said, take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.